Yeah, I've always loved Bollywood and all the intricacies and the color and the life within their films. And the filmmaking quality is so high
Mm.
that they always do so well. I would love that.
Have you visited India ever? Oh, I will make sure that
Mommy.
it's done.
I'm so like confident and secure in myself, and I also just trust whatever it is I'm working on, that I'm like I can put my vanity aside and be like, yeah, it doesn't matter that I'm like glammed up. It doesn't make sense for the character.
Like,
I'm
no,
like, I didn't know my chin does that, or why is the back of my arm
no,
like
why
that?
am I not like sitting straight?
Yeah.
Like, there are so many small things which you don't
Oh, yeah.
realize.
It's almost like a rip in the space-time continuum. Like we're not supposed to watch ourselves like that, right? So she's like, if you just forget it's you, you'll enjoy it more. And after that, I was like, okay.
Hello, hi Ash. Welcome to India today. I have to say, firstly, you look gorgeous. That red
Thank you
really suits
so
you.
much. Thank you.
I am very excited for you because medical drama is something that I always enjoy. I know that, it is one of those genres which I personally really like engage myself into. But is that something that really made you curious to be a part of Pulse as well?
I'm the same way. I love a medical drama. I have ever since I was a little girl. I think there's some fascination with like working in a hospital, especially for us who aren't in the medical field.
Yeah.
But I've always loved like the drama between, the coworkers and everyone. So when I first read the script, I was so excited because I so badly wanted to be a part of the project. And so I was really happy when it ended up working out because I was like, oh, this is something I would watch. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like, but when you're shooting for the drama versus when you read the script, what was it?
I think the hardest part for me was, so I play a paramedic, and working the stretcher, like you would think it's so easy,
Yeah.
but we had an entire training day on just working the stretcher and like moving everything because you go so fast when you start shooting, and then you're having to like say all these terms, because when paramedics come in, they're giving you the rundown on everything that happened and what medication they administered in the ambulance. And so being able to like have the lingo down while also the mannerisms, like it's hard. I was like, oh, this is no wonder people like go to school and train for so long.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why people really train for that.
These are like real careers.
It is. But because like you said, these are actual people who you find in real life as well. When you play someone like that, do you feel a sense of responsibility to be able to play them as authentically as possible? Because these are not fiction. Of course, you're playing a fictional character, but these are real people.
Yes, yeah, it does. There is a weight to it because you want everything to feel grounded and real. I remember when I first got to set and I did my fitting, I saw the mood board that the costume designer had on the wall, and I was like, oh, they're not trying to make this feel like, we're watching a TV show. They're trying to make this feel like we really are in a hospital in Miami. And so our hair is like, it's messy, and we're supposed to look like we don't have a lot of makeup on, and trying to just hone in on the reality of everything. It was a great responsibility because you didn't want it to feel like we're like actors and
Absolutely. But at the back of your mind, you still know that you're an actor, right? And
Yes,
for any
yeah.
actor, especially to be a part of a show like that, vanity is very, very important. I mean, that's part of the job. How difficult sometimes is it to like sort of be okay with having less makeup on, because camera captures everything, and
Yeah, it's funny. I think because I think if I was doing this show when I was like in my early 20s, it would be difficult for me. But now that I'm like, girl, we're 31. We are confident.
we're both on the same page, clearly.
Yes, I'm so like confident and secure in myself, and I also just trust whatever it is I'm working on, that I'm like I can put my vanity aside and be like, yeah, it doesn't matter that I'm like glammed up. It doesn't make sense for the character. I'm a paramedic. I'm out in the field. I'm sweating. There's a hurricane. Like I'm gonna look like a mess. My hair is wet. Like it doesn't matter. All that matters is that like I'm as honest as possible. So it was actually refreshing. It was very refreshing.
you know that also makes me curious, when on a set like this, where you have so many people on set working together, because I mean, a medical drama is nothing without the synergy of every character present there. What is it like sometimes, to take a back seat as well? Because not in every scene will you shine. You have to have that security as an actor as well, to be able to be a part of an ensemble. What is that mantra like for you, Ash? Like, how do you go about these things? Because I know it's difficult sometimes.
Yes, it definitely has its hardships. When we have such an ensemble cast, that you would get scripts for a certain episode and you would expect, like, I'm like in every scene. And then, you're in like one or two and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. All that matters is, what is the story trying to say? And then when I'm in something, am I like giving as much as possible so that my presence can be felt, even though I'm in like every single scene of the show, because it is an ensemble cast. There's so many moving parts. There's so many storylines too. Like, everyone has their own issues going on in their own world. And so you really have to just sit back and be like, okay, I'm part of something that is so big and great, and I'm a piece of the collective, but we're all just as important.
Absolutely. But also, again, like, I feel like every project makes you learn something about yourself. After Pulse, what is it that you sort of discovered about yourself? Like, okay, I did not know that Ash could do this, and oh my God, I'm very happy that she can.
Yeah, I've never been so challenged physically, because a lot of my scenes are restrained to a hospital bed, and not being able to like move and use space and having everything be like here.
Yeah.
I really learned that I can trust myself with that. Like, I even surprised myself at times with how much I was able to evoke, because I can't like move and use the room and express myself. I'm like, I have an injury and I'm confined to a bed, but still having to like evoke all of that within that restraint. I was really proud of myself. Yeah.
You are. Oh my God, that's so interesting. But are you someone who is always very like anxious before a release, or are you someone who's more relaxed? Also, you're in Miami, so it helps to be more relaxed. Yeah. But are you someone who always has the nerves really like high before a release, or are you like, okay, let's see how it goes?
I think I'm half and half. Like, I vacillate between the two within an hour. I'll be like so easy about it. I'm like, and then I'm like, will people like really watch it?
No, I completely get it. And also, but like I said before we started rolling, that you have nothing to worry, because like you said, you enjoyed watching it, and I think as long as you enjoyed it, you should know that the audience will enjoy it as well. Because
I love that you said that. Yeah, you brought me comfort by saying that, because it's true. It's like, okay, if it resonated with you, then surely it will resonate with other people.
Absolutely. But are you also someone who is very critical? Because I feel like an artist usually is very critical of his or her own performances.
Yeah, it can be hard for me. I've learned recently, I had a movie come out on Netflix a few months ago, Our Little Secret, with Lindsay Lohan and Kristen Chenoweth. And watching that, I was like, because it's hard to watch yourself. But then I was like, okay, if I forget that that's me, then I actually like it. Yeah, so I just do that. I forget that it's me.
Oh my God, how do you do that? Because I feel like even if I try to, because I watch my interview sometimes, and it's difficult to not be critical, I'll be like, oh, I could have framed this better. Maybe I could have.
I know. I'm like, I didn't know my chin does that, or why is the back of my arm like
why am I not like sitting straight? Like, there are so many small things which you don't realize.
Yep. But if you literally forget that it's even you, and you're just like watching it objectively, then you would enjoy it more. You'd be like, oh, she's a great interviewer. She asks really good questions. Yeah. And she looks beautiful. Like, oh, okay. She's got a great smile. Great. Okay.
Yeah. I'll take all of that as a compliment to myself at this point. But Ash, again, when did you reach a point where you were okay watching yourself and not be critical? Because I think it doesn't come as soon as you debut. It takes a while. When did you reach that point?
One of my co-stars from Our Little Secret, when they had sent us the film and we were voice memoing back and forth, and I was like, Oh my God. And then she told me something that Catherine Hahn said, and that was basically her advice. And so Katie reminded me of that. And she was like, it's almost like a rip in the space-time continuum. Like we're not supposed to watch ourselves like that, right? So she's like, if you just forget it's you, you'll enjoy it more. And after that, I was like, okay. So I watched Pulse all the way through and I was like, oh, I like enjoy this so much more because like,
Wow, that's actually a very good piece of advice, because as long as you can enjoy it without having this bias in mind that this is you, I think oh wow.
because we're so critical of ourselves and we think things of ourselves that nobody else thinks. And so, you know, like the things that you would say about yourself, I would never say to you or even think. And so I'm like, okay, like I don't need to think this about I'm just being so, you know, like there's no need for it. It doesn't exist. Real.
Yeah, I think most of the criticism sometimes is in our head, because we are constantly just over analyzing everything.
Everything. Yeah. There's no need. Just get it's you. Leave your body.
Lovely. But you know, again, what is it that you want to tell me about the medical drama which you discovered when you were a part of it? Because you know, I have enjoyed, like I said, medical dramas as a fan for the longest time. But to be a part of it and just experience that world, was there some revelations that happened? You were like, oh my God, I thought this is not how it is supposed to be, but it is very different. Like, were there certain revelations that happened?
Oh, that's interesting. That's a great question. I mean, I should have known, but I was shocked by the amount of props that need to be used and the amount of like there were days that we would have so many background actors, and like the set is so big. We have 4 sound stages on the Netflix studios in Albuquerque, and walking around and I'm like, we have one sound stage dedicated just to props, where it's just like almost a warehouse filled with shelves and shelves of props. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. You need so many props to make this look real. I think the most jarring one was, so, you know, Nia goes through this whole medical situation, and seeing my fake body for surgery with like organs and everything, my entire torso, I was like, they brought me in, they're like, do you want to see your body for this? And I'm like, ah, the fact that they can make that and it looks so real. And like they put blood and everything. You're just like, wow, it's crazy. All the intricacies involved. It's so fun.
Wow, I was just trying to imagine that, and it sounds very interesting and crazy at the same time. Oh my God.
Yeah, they have like an entire, you know, for the surgical scenes for all the different patients, entire torsos and with all the organs and like everything that they bring. And you're just like, this is a prop?
Yeah, because when we are watching, we don't realize these are all just props, but because I mean, that's the job eventually.
Exactly. To make it look real, but it's crazy when you actually see it close up. You're like, wow. Yeah.
But you know, Ash, also I want to know, because you've been part of the industry for a while now and you've seen a change. I mean, globally, there has been a shift in narrative, right? Wherein I feel like no more are we looking at, especially female, actresses in a certain box or from a single prism. I feel the way we are looking at them is changing. As actors, how do you think, or do you think that is happening a lot more now? Do you see it?
I think so. I think there's been a great shift in the stories that we're having women tell. I love our lead, Willa Fitzgerald. She is just she's an incredible actress. She is so talented. I think the world of her, and she carries this show. You know, our show deals with those themes. It deals with women in the workplace and how they're treated differently versus men, and when women make a mistake versus when a man makes a mistake, the judgment. And the way that she portrays those storylines is so deeply authentic and very emotional. you just root for her. You can't help but root for her. So I do think there's been, thankfully, a great shift in the industry as well, with like types of stories that they're having women tell nowadays. So it makes it so interesting and so much more fun.
Absolutely, because I think for the longest time, as women ourselves, we have been waiting to see the right representation, or at least the modern representation in today's time. Because I was at least done with them being shown as this one-dimensional character, where it
Yes,
all
or
of
like an accessory to a story.
Yeah.
Like because think about the women in your life, like that's not how they are, the women in my life are not like that. And so being able to finally get like an accurate representation of what women are like, I'm like, every woman I know like runs everything around her. Like,
Absolutely.
like she runs the home, she runs any office she's in. Like women, we naturally just kind of like take over things when we're in those environments. And so it's nice when you start seeing that reflected in the media.
Absolutely. What did you learn about yourself just throughout this career that you have had, right? And I'm sure you've seen all the ups and downs, and you've seen everything that one could, especially in Hollywood. I mean, I know it's not an easy industry to sort of come in, survive, thrive the way you have. One thing you want to tell your maybe like 20-year-old self, in retrospect, that this is what you want to tell her, and one thing that you've learned in this entire journey that you have had.
One thing I would tell my 20-year-old self is stop being afraid of who you are. I spent so long like people pleasing and trying to like be what I thought people wanted me to be, and like I would like shape shift and be this chameleon. And then finally by like 26, 27, I was like, I'm fucking tired. Like I can't do this anymore. And I now just try to like, who I am is different from anyone else, and that's what makes me me. And so I would tell my 20-year-old self, like, don't be afraid of who you are. Like, you can be yourself. It's okay. And then one thing I've learned in this industry is that I can't let the high highs or the low lows define me. They don't define me. At the end of the day, who I am as an artist cannot be defined by whatever jobs I book, or whether I don't book this job, or whether it's like you just have to trust yourself and trust that like what's meant for you will always come. And like, just because something is so great doesn't, you now can't be like, okay, well, now I'm so, great, and like have this ego about it. Like this industry will always do that. You always trust the fluctuation. So you can't be defined by like the low lows, and then you also can't define yourself by these high highs. You just are like that. You are who you are.
I completely agree with you. I feel like if there's one thing this industry teaches you, is to just go with the flow, just enjoy the moment, and things will pass. Not like they say that time is not the same. It changes, and it means for both good and bad. And I think but also again, because you come across as someone who is very sensitive and who is emotional, when you read something online, how do you look at feedback? Because every actor is also looking at how the audience is reacting to their character. Do you depend on people around you, or do you look at social media? Because today that is an important barometer to be able to decide how people are looking at things.
Yeah, I try not to read like comments, or if a friend like sends me like, oh look, like someone posted about this, like I'll be like, thank you, but I won't. It's hard. I've trained myself, because it just you end up going down these rabbit holes where you're like, oh, all that matters is like, okay, am I proud of my work? What are some things I could have done better? What will I, what have I learned to use next time? Or what am I just like, oh, wow, I'm actually really proud of that. Okay, great. Yeah, because you can't, it's already hard enough with your own opinion. getting other people's opinions, you're just like,
I agree.
that for days.
No, that's exactly the mantra that I also have, because even if I know that in my heart that, okay, this is a good interview, I never go and read comments, because I'm like, there are 10 comments, for example, and 7 of them are great. But if there are 3 negative comments,
you're going to focus on the 3.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. And
I know. You'd be like reciting the 3 in your head, and you're like...
And the worst part is, suddenly everything good I thought about the interview just goes in the subconscious mind, and I'm only thinking about what was bad.
Exactly. And then the people who left those comments, are they interviewers? Are they like successful people that you actually respect? No, they're usually not. So you're like, this is someone who's living in his mother's basement.
I love the energy that you have when it comes to this. But also tell me,
I worked so hard. I'm so successful. Like, I can't let this man in a basement put me down.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Then you should not, because I know that you've done an amazing job and people will reciprocate it. You will get all the love that you deserve at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to know, what kind of roles are you now also looking at? Because like you said, you are hungry as an actor to be able to show more, right? You have dabbled with different kinds of genres, but is there a genre that you have not experimented so far and you're like, okay, this is something I really hope I can do, and perhaps in the next year you would probably do something like that?
Yeah, I have a project lined up that I can't yet talk about, but it's one that I had manifested for years, because I love the roles that I've had so far. They've been so beneficial for me, but I was so ready for something that didn't require me to be like someone's love interest, just a woman on her own, going through her own journey, showing how strong I am, how tough I can be, and portraying me as that. I wanted to be portrayed as that. And so I thankfully booked that. It's a film that I'll be working on starting in June in LA. And I'm so excited. I read the script and I just sobbed crying. And I remember before I did the audition, I was like, I want this so badly. And then when it ended up coming, I just was like, ah! So I'm really excited. It's important to me that because these roles are so fun and I love them, and I would love to have roles like this for the rest of my career, roles like what I have in Pulse. But it's also important to me that I show, the other side of me. While I can be so sweet, sensitive, emotional, and, this love interest that we watch her fall in love and we get to reminisce in that, I can also be a badass who is tough, makes hard decisions, and carries people on my back. And I'm like, okay, so I love the dynamic of that, and I love being able to portray those things.
So happy for you that you manifested it and you got something like that. Let's manifest something else as well right now, because it's like you would do great in Indian cinema as well, because we are evolving.
Oh, I would love that. That sounds incredible. Yeah, I've always loved Bollywood and all the intricacies and the color and the life within their films. And the filmmaking quality is so high that they always do so well. I would love that.
Have you visited India ever? Oh, I will make sure
I've never visited India. No, I would love to. Yeah,
I think you should definitely, because I feel like you would be able to sort of savor and enjoy the culture a lot.
Oh, I love that. Well, I love the food, so.
Oh, you do? What do you like in Indian food?
I love curry. I love butter chicken. I love eat my weight.
Lovely. Then you should come here definitely and have the authentic butter chicken and the authentic.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd love to have you.
I love hearing that from you. Thank you.
But honestly, at this point, I feel like you're doing great, and I hope that good work comes your way always, because there's right intent, there's a hunger to prove yourself. And I think that you are amazing the way you are. So thank you so much. And
thank you so much. I'm so glad we had this.
Yeah, same here. And please enjoy your time in Miami. I feel like you deserve this.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely meeting you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.